Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the new and returning listeners. Hopefully, you all can hear me okay. But thanks for joining me for tonight's session. Welcome to all of you. It's good to see a lot of you back in the chat, raring to go. How are you, Darnell? Brother Calvin, all praise to Yah. Maria, welcome to you, sis. Miss Love, how are you, Susan? She says, all praises. Miss Love, bless y'all. Bless you too. T Diamond, I believe that's what that is. Hello to you, Patricia, Vicky Shia, Takirika. Y'all are trying me with these names. All right, Sister Hadassah, Yvette, Brother Jason, Lisa. Let's see, Sister Cece, how you doing, Sister? Lisa, JV, Brother Harold, how are you? Yabu, I am blessed. I'm blessed too. Kimbler, Chizuria, how are you doing this afternoon? Sharon, it's good to see all of you. Thanks for coming out tonight, and hopefully you're rearing up to go. We have a great lesson in store for tonight. How you doing, Bruce? Lady Dagger status. All right now. Chosen daughter of Zion. Gates of Huldah moderators. Hello to all of you. Many blessings to you. Dale, how are you doing? Lisa. Lorraine, Yasid of Jake, son of Zion. All right. Cecilia, how are you doing? Sarah, Weena, Nell. Let's see, Lorsley, Yvonne, Tredina, Valerie, Coco. All right. Yedris, Rainy Pal, Annie, how you doing? Marilyn, Mr. The Original School, Jim Love. Let's see who we have. Amaz in Line, Amaz in Life. There you go. Avi. All right, so quite a bit of you tuning in tonight. And welcome to all of you tuning in by television. My mom's watching. Welcome to all of you, and thanks again for joining me for tonight's session. So, if you tuned in this past Sunday, you know that we talked about the days of judgment. We have to make sure we say it's plural because there's more than one. And we only think about the final judgment that comes at the end of the world because that's what we were taught. So, as we look throughout scripture, though, we find that there are many references of the Most High bringing judgment on the inhabitants of the world to include his own people. And that's why we find ourselves being scattered and still in the lands of our captivity. So understanding the days of judgments, or the days, I should say, of judgment, is imperative as we look for our deliverance from the oppression of the wicked. And the word tells us that he knows, Abba knows our end from the beginning. So we have to search the scriptures so that the Holy Spirit will reveal unto us the signs of the last days and the things that he wants us to know. Because if you remember, Daniel was told to seal up the book until the end times. So there are things that's going to be revealed unto us in these last days. So we need to stay before the Most High and have him allow him to reveal these truths for us so that we can be prepared to stand in these last days. We know that it's not the Father's will for us to be ignorant. And he says he will not do anything in the earth until he reveals it unto the prophets. So we know that Messiah gave us a number of things to look for. And some of those signs we know will be happening in the heavens. So I want us to look at some things that are happening right now in our world that's being orchestrated by the puppet masters. And they're doing these things to create distractions and to create chaos. They are creating chaos. And if you know, for those of you who know, this is a term that was invented by the Freemasons, order out of chaos. So you have to remember that they know these prophecies. They see that we're waking up. So they're trying to bring about their Messiah, the false Messiah. So this is why we were warned in Luke and in Matthew that we need to be aware of these things. So we need to know what we're looking at so that we are not deceived. So we're going to talk about some of these things tonight. And you all, I know that some of the things that I cover can invoke certain emotions. Some may get you a little heated, but we can make our points without being offensive, right? If you have to wonder about whether or not the comments that you're about to post is inappropriate, chances are it is. So we want to be respectful in the comment section as we make our comments. And we can do that. You all, you know what to do, and you know what we're dealing with as well. So we're going to get ready to get started with this session because, like I said, we have quite a bit to cover tonight. And we need to talk about things so that we are aware of what we're looking at. We need to know what we're seeing, what these things mean. So we're talking about the signs of the last days, the signs of the last days. I don't know why that didn't stay in there, but we're going to look at a few things tonight because, as I said, we were told to watch and pray. We were told to do this. Now, you have to know what you're looking for. And that's where we have the scriptures telling us that we need to be paying attention to these signs. So again, if you listen to the message on Sunday, you'll remember that I compared the words of Matthew 24 and Luke 21 concerning the signs of the last days. And Messiah was responding to questions the disciples had asked after he told them that the temple was going to be destroyed. So they came to him privately and they asked him to tell them when the temple would be destroyed. They also wanted to know what would be the sign of his coming and then what would be the sign of the end of the age. And some versions say the end of the world. So we're looking at three things here. So I talked about the events that happened before and after the temple was destroyed in the last session, and the prophecy about the house of Judah going into captivity and why. That explains why we're in these lands, in the Caribbeans, the different islands, etc. This will explain why Judah was scattered to the four winds or to the four corners. So their second question was about the sign of his coming. And we have to understand that some of these signs continue. And as they continue, they get worse, like the woman in labor. When it first starts, you may have some cramping here and there, and then it'll go away. They subside. And then when it's nearing time for you to deliver that baby, I mean, they're coming forcefully. You are in labor. So we should use that same example as we're looking at these signs. These things that would be happening in the earth, we see that it's increasing more and more. And now we need to start looking to the heavens, because he said there would be some things happening in the heavens with the sun, with the moon, with the stars. And some of these things would cause men's hearts to fail. So we want to, again, make sure that we're using these prophecies so that we can see what is coming, what's happening, so that we won't have to be fearful. We can rest because he tells us the end from the beginning. So let's read this from Matthew 24:32 through 34. Now, Messiah is speaking. He says, "Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things," well, what things? The things that he mentioned that would come, the distress of nations, the wars, the rumors of war, the tribulation, even the captivity of our people. He says, when you see all these things. Now, you all know that he was talking to the disciples. They're no longer with us. They've passed on to the other side. So he says, when you see all these things, know that it is near at the doors. Assuredly, I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Well, if they passed away, the disciples, they're no longer here. Who is he talking about then? He's talking about the generation that will see all of these things. We are the generation that's seeing all these things. We can now look back and see how all these things came together and happened just like he said. We can look back and see what happened right before the destruction of the temple. We can look back and see how Jerusalem was destroyed and trampled by the Gentiles. We can look back and see that a lot of our people died. It was severe, but a lot of them escaped. And historical records show that they ran into different parts of Africa. So we are the generation that we can now see how these things are coming together. And we can see that, okay, he said this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. So now we're preparing ourselves because we see how things are happening in the earth. Now we need to look for what the things will be in the heavens. So we are, I should say, we're the generation that should be walking by faith. By faith, because he says, when you see all these things, know that it is near, it is at the doors. We see how these things are coming together, so we know that it's near. And he said, will I find faith on the earth when I return? Let's not disappoint him, family. We need to be standing in faith and waiting, trusting, knowing that he tells us not to fear. He says, my peace I leave with you. So as I go through these things tonight, there's no need for you to fear. The greater one lives on the inside of you. And he always causes us to triumph. I'm telling you all these things for you not to be despondent and in despair, like the, oh, woe is me. No, That is not our position at this point. We are waiting expectantly because we know that things will work together for good, just like it did when we left Egypt. All right? So that's the pep talk. Now let's get going. Now we want to look at Matthew 24:21 through 22. For then there will be great tribulation. So he warned us, right? That there will be great tribulation. And again, there are cycles. It's not like there's a one time when there was tribulation. Our people have been in it since. We've been in it. He says, such as has not been seen since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. Can you just think about what he's saying there? The tribulation would be so great that if the Most High had not shortened the days, no flesh would be saved. But listen to what's after the but. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. For our sake, the days will be shortened. Who are the elect? The ones the angels will be gathering from the four winds. Amos 3:2 says, you only have I chosen among all the families of the earth. And this is why he punished us for our iniquities. But he said the days would be cut short, or none of us would be left. So then that tells us this time of Jacob's trouble continues until he returns. And I think that's the part that we need to pay attention to. Even though things are crazy in this world right now, we have to look at what is happening to the elect. What is happening to the elect and compare it to what was happening to the elect in Egypt. Put the two things together. So we know that there was a pressure, just like when a woman's in labor, there's a pressure to deliver that baby. And it doesn't come without pain, unfortunately. But he said, but for our sake, the days will be shortened. So that tells you that there will be many who will make it out of this. So I want to look at some of the things going on as this nation and many of the nations around the world start to tear apart. They're tearing apart, and we can see it almost daily. It's like, oh my gosh, what is it going to be today? And I want to point out a particular strategy as I go through this that Europeans use when they realize that their world is falling apart. They have a strategy, and I want you to pay close attention to this. They use this strategy to unite. Do you know what that strategy is? They find the common enemy. Now, who do you think that enemy is? They find a common enemy. Nell says Babylon the Great has fallen. We can certainly see the signs, don't we? We certainly see the signs. How you doing, Elephant Man? Haven't seen you in a while. Yes, Brother Harold, us. And it's going to be very evident as I go through this. They look for a common enemy. But scripture tells us that it's not going to work because the Most High is going to make them fight against each other. No one wants to come out and say that everything is already in place for World War III. And, if we would just tell the truth, that's where we are right now. They're just not saying it. The signs are there. But what's about to happen in these individual nations? There's a lot of things happening in the individual nations. So we want to look at some things tonight and just kind of talk through them. Again, it's not for you to be fearful. Um, cast out fear, cast it out. Um, not long ago, my family and I, we all got together, the different families, and we were just talking through some of the things that's going on. And my husband, former military, the first thing he says is, this is not a time for any of us to panic. Do not panic. He says, because when you panic, you make dumb mistakes. You react without thinking. You like scripture say, you try to save your life and you lose your life. This is when we need to settle ourselves in scripture and meditate on his word. You need to know how to get into the secret place. So when he said that, it was like, you're absolutely right. This is not a time to panic. Oh, what am I going to do? What? No, you get into your secret place and you let the Most High give you his peace, and you listen for direction for you and your house. All right, so let's keep going with this. So let's look at this article from NPR. And it says, imagine another American Civil War, but this time in every state. In every state? Now, that may have been hard to imagine a decade ago, but there is so much turmoil going on right now. It's easy to see how this could happen. I mean, you might as well say Florida and Texas is doing their own thing, separate and apart from the other states. But when you think about this, what exactly would be the cause of this civil war? We know that the last one was over us, even though they try to make it seem that it was about states' rights. But don't you see that that's the same argument they're using now? It's about states' rights. So things didn't change, did it? Now you're going to see a lot of patterns as we go through this. So let's keep going. Now, we actually have a group calling for civil war. This is from Insider. It says the far right is calling for civil war after the FBI raid on Trump's home. Experts say that fight wouldn't look like the last one. So now we have people calling for civil war. Let's keep going. Now I want you to take a look at these pictures and tell me what they have in common. I'm going to look at some of the comments here. Tell me what they have in common. Let's go through here. Tell me what you have in common. How are you, Karen? I see you. You say I'm here. Good of you, nice of you to join us this afternoon. Tell me, family, what do these three have in common? Yeah, all our people, yeah. Somebody say they look soulless. Darnell say they are one of us, all Black folk, prosecutors. Boule sellouts. Somebody say all Hebrews. Patricia says they are being used. There you go. Yes. So, yes. I was wondering if there were others who was seeing this the way I was seeing it. Yeah. So you have on the left District Attorney Fannie Willis, in the middle Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, and then New York Attorney General Letitia James. They're all involved in legal matters concerning former President Donald Trump or his company. Now, Fannie Willis is the prosecutor at the center of one of these investigations. And it just so happens that during Attorney General Letitia James's campaign, she promised, her words, to harass and investigate any illegal conduct the Trump family may have been involved in. Not only that, according to some sources, she said he was an illegitimate president. But let's go deeper because we need to make the connection. Remember, family, it happens in the natural first. We have things going on in the natural and in the spirit realm, and there's a connection. So I want you to see through this. It's not a coincidence that these three black faces are front and center. No coincidence at all. So look at the title for this article from Intelligencer. It says Trump. This is he's saying this. It's unfair for black prosecutors to charge my crimes. They're attributing this statement to him. Crooked company plays race card. Here's what you need to understand. The black-white issue is a tool. Let that sink in for a minute. The puppet masters began using this tool to oppress our people from the beginning. It's been a very effective weapon for them. So why would they stop now? But if you look even deeper, the faces they put out in front are not the ones orchestrating these things. It's the people behind the scenes. They're trying to move a certain agenda forward. So they use certain tools. Another tool is the media. The media will always play a major part in fanning the flames. Let's continue on so that you can see how they do this. Now, I'm sure most of you have seen this picture, and the message should be clear. Again, this is the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, and he brought charges against the former president over alleged hush money paid to a woman during the 2016 elections. But do you see the picture of the former president holding the bat? And he had some choice words to say about this man as well. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at Fox News playing their part. Trump, Bragg campaigned on getting me. In other words, they're out to get me. They've been planning this from the very beginning. Look at another report, Fox, and they're going to keep stirring the pot. Bragg boasts of Trump arrests as New York City crime surges. So in other words, they're forgetting about all the crime that's happening in New York. And they're trying to put the former president, and he, I should say, is trying to put the former president in jail. So they're adding fuel to the fire. They know who they're talking to. and they know how to incite the anger and hate. But who is it directed towards? Who will they be coming for? Let's keep going. All right, so I want to take a look at this. This reads, it says, Bragg is one of 3 African American prosecutors seeking to hold Trump accountable through the legal system. Now I ask, so it's Black people trying to hold him accountable? The question isn't whether or not he committed crimes. No, all they see right now is Black people going against one of their own. This is not a coincidence, family. It says in Georgia, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, she's the one on the left, is continuing her criminal probe of Trump and his involvement in trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election in her majority Black district. A decision from Willis, who is reportedly considering racketeering and conspiracy charges, could come as soon as this. And it goes on. But I need you to understand what is happening here. That's it, Notorious Hebrew. It's by design. It's by design. Drea says, I thought I had you there. Of all the prosecutors, and yeah, we know it's a setup. Yes, Bible English, this is a foretaste, exactly, because something has to happen. Harold, the state, there you go, Brother Harold. There you go, Brother Harold. Yes, yes. We have to be wise, family. Karen says, I never would have thought it would work out this way. Oh, I'm not finished. I have more. Brother Calvin says, order out of chaos. Yes. Yes. Family. And that's why I say you don't have to panic or be up in arms. These things have to happen to bring the prophecies to fruition. These things must happen. And this is why you have time now to prepare and undergird yourself. You need to have on the whole armor, because this, I want you to think about how strategic the Most High is. He allows us to be placed in a position where we have no defense, where we are vulnerable. Where there is no one coming to our rescue. And then he comes in like a flood. So that's what I'm saying. It's not for you to fret. Kara says, yes, it must happen. That's right. These things must be. Yes, Yadris, hope I didn't say that incorrectly. He says, but they are falling right into the Most High's or the Almighty Yah's plan. That's exactly what's happening. And that's why I'm telling you, you don't have to fret. There you go, Shamar. There you go, back against the Red Sea. And he's doing this because it's going to be just like it was before. He will deliver us with a mighty hand where it seems like, okay, we got them now. There is no hope for them. And they don't know that that puts them exactly where he wants them to be. Because when it's all said and done, they will know who we are, and they will know who he is, that he's fighting for his people. So there is no reason for us to be so fearful that we think that all hope is lost. No, it's a setup. It's the okie doke. I need my husband for these terms when it comes to all kinds of sports. I have to get him to give me all those words, but you all know what I mean. So, yes, someone said the Most High is the master chess player. Who is that? GM. Yes, look, he's setting them up. He's putting the hook in their nose. And they think he wants them to think that they have the upper hand because they get cocky and they get prideful. So again, there was a reason. Now, y'all, look, I have more. Let's go on. I want you to listen to this from Political Wire. It says, Trump, and this happened on, this was printed on April 10th, 2023. So not long ago, a few days ago. It says Trump's racial attacks on prosecutors. It says, in his post-arraignment Mar-a-Lago rant, he referred to Willis as a local racist Democrat district attorney in Atlanta who's doing everything in her power to indict me over an absolutely perfect phone call. James, he added, is another racist in reverse. He spared Bragg that particular word that night, but he had already called him an animal. Now, what does that make you think of? And warned, listen to what he warned of, potential death and destruction if he were to be charged. He was back at it Sunday night with a Truth Social post that stated, just like New York, the racist district attorney in Atlanta. So, are we looking at coincidences here? Now look at what we're going to look at here. Democrat voters torch Bragg for tragic Trump indictment as crime soars. Worst prosecutor in America. Now stop the presses. So Dems were all for it. Yeah, go get him. Lock him up. Now, I want you to just think of how many different legal cases they have against him right now. But it just so happens that the cases from the Black prosecutors move forward. So it says, Democrat voters are pushing back against Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg over the indictment of Donald Trump as he continues to face bipartisan scrutiny surrounding the strength of his case against the former president. Trump was arraigned at the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse on Tuesday, where he pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. You would think you're either guilty or not guilty on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there shouldn't be a gray area. You're guilty or you're not. It says he was formally indicted by a grand jury last week. Amid the fallout over the unparalleled indictment, Bragg has faced extensive condemnation from both sides of the political aisle, with critics accusing him of weaponizing the law for political purposes. I hope you all see where this is leading. Find the common enemy. Find the common enemy. So, I want to share some excerpts from this report from The Guardian. It says Trump keeps accusing Black prosecutors of being racist. Coincidence? I think not. I don't think it's a coincidence either. So it says the political and racial maneuvering here is obvious and ridiculous. But that doesn't make it less dangerous. Listen to what the article is saying. Even though we can see through what's happening here, family, it's dangerous. It says the last several months have seen former President Donald Trump dust off his tired strategy of stoking white nationalist sentiment. And this time, he's taking on the prosecutors. He started with the Manhattan District Attorney, who is currently bringing charges over alleged hush money. And it says earlier this month on Truth Social, this is what he said: the racist Manhattan district attorney, who is presiding over one of the most dangerous and violent cities in the U.S. and doing nothing about it, is being pushed to bring charges against me for the now ancient no affair story of Stormy Horseface Daniels, when there is no crime and charges have never been brought on such a case before. That's not all. Let's go on. So it's, y'all, I mean, let's just go on, because you need to see what the enemy's doing here. So it says Democrat voter Sammy Ravello, who is also a former police officer, ripped Bragg for dedicating DA resources to the case against Trump during Fox and Friends, all while crime continues to cripple Big Apple streets. So he says, my whole thing is, they found the worst prosecutor in America to prosecute Trump because Alvin Bragg would not prosecute a black on black crime or a Latino crime. He'll set those guys free. Ravello told Ainsley Earhart on Wednesday, in the meantime, he goes after a former president. This is a tragedy for America right now. We should not be celebrating. Do you see what's happening here, family? They are creating the chaos because they have an agenda, and they need to push that agenda forward. Let's go on. So this is what the writer says. Black people can't be racist. They simply do not possess the political, social, or material power to enact the violence that racism seeks to do to those who suffer under it. Trump probably knows that. Still, one of the impacts of this rhetoric of anti-white racism is that it invites everyday Americans to see themselves as victims of a black takeover. This isn't just absurd. It also lends credence to the far right white replacement theory that underpins Trump's political strategy. Please don't miss this. Only about 6% of district attorneys in the country are black. Pause and think on that. Only about 6% of the district attorneys in the country are black, and we just happen to have 3 at the forefront of this. Are you seeing the hand of Esau here? Only 6%. So it says Trump is inflating the legal discretionary power of this handful of people, then extrapolating it to all Black Americans, effectively saying, watch out for those Blacks, they're coming to get you. The political and racial maneuvering here is obvious, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. So it says in remarks late last month, he called prosecutors in New York, Atlanta, and Washington radical, vicious, and racist. Again, do you see the hand of Esau here? Don't you think they know the type of emotions that's going to be stirred up? Letter containing small amount of white powder addressed to D.A. Bragg with message, Alvin, I'm going to erase you. Yeah, they know it, family. And this man is still receiving threats. Still receiving threats. So, Mr. The Original School, clear as crystal is clear. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have an agenda. Thank you. Now that's it. They distract us with Democrats and Republicans, got us going against each other. Yes, while they are behind the closed doors plotting to kill, steal, and destroy. That's exactly the plan. You find the common enemy. Saw says, yep, the devil is always in their details. You got that right. Yeah. Pneuma fire, the demon crates, and the reptilians are two horns on the same dragon. Mm-hmm. Yes, Brother Calvin, the time of Jacob is here. Yes, I mean, this is just, Brother Keith says both parties are in on the agenda. Yes, they are. If we would just get that. Brother Asaph, we're in danger of banjo playing evangelicals. Yes, Davida. Interesting how now these nations also realize their common enemy. And now talks about Revelation 18. Yes, Gregory says playing both sides is a strategy they use for a long time. It is it's been an effective one for them. So they keep using it. Our thing is family, we have to learn how to stop falling for it. We have to stop falling for this. Look, stop falling for it. They use the same strategy. The same strategy. And we have to stop falling for it. Now, let's continue. All right. So let's look at this. Let's look at some more coincidences. We'll just call them coincidences. The racial element of Trump's attacks on his prosecutors, why it matters that he calls them racist and animal. Words matter. Words matter, family. They matter. So let's read some of this. It says, indictment season is officially underway, and Donald Trump's legal Houdini Act is closing after a 50-year run. Yes, he's making history. But let's focus for just a moment on the prosecutors leading the investigations that many finally hold him to account. Who are they? And the disturbing nature of Trump's attacks against them will shape the 2024 campaign and American democracy itself. Trust me, this goes beyond the campaign. It says, before Trump became the first former president to be indicted, there was, listen, the first Black person elected district attorney of Manhattan, Alvin Bragg. Coincidence one. There was the first woman and first Black woman elected district attorney of Fulton County, Georgia, Fannie Willis. Coincidence two. And there was Letitia James, who in 2018 shattered a trio of racial and gender barriers. As the New York Times put it, first woman to be elected New York Attorney General, first Black woman to be elected to statewide office, first Black person to serve as Attorney General. Coincidence 3. Yeah, Portia, that's what I say. Lots of firsts. All 3 of them? All 3 of them. Coincidence, right? Just a coincidence. All 3. Come on now. Come on. There you go, Numa. They were not elected. They were selected. They were selected. We have to be able to see through this. We have to be wise. They've been playing this game for over 400 years. These are not coincidences. Cecilia says, huge coincidences. They're going to try and make an example of them, ruin their careers. You know it. You know it. But they are allowing themselves to be used. Surely they can see through this. Surely. Let's keep going. And we all know that it's happening in other places too, right? DeSantis accused of declaring war on Blacks in Florida. Now add all of this together, and now we put a CRT cherry on top. And we have to ask, what is this really about? What is this really about? And here's where I'm going to ask you to think for a second. These people that they put in front, they're just there so that you can have somebody to direct anger toward. The real puppet masters, the ones instigating this and giving these people their marching orders, you don't see them. They won't be in the limelight. They put these people in front for you to be angry with. But you need to understand the dragon is persecuting the seed of the woman. This goes beyond black and white. Black and white is a tool. It's a tool, and they use that tool effectively. Religion is a tool. They have used that one very effectively. The media is a tool. The alphabet community, where they constantly put the faces of our people, the most ridiculous looking ones, they put them front and center to make the world think they're the degenerates of the world. They're the ones who are lacking in morals. It's a tool. So we need to make sure we understand what we're looking at. Florida NAACP urges Black people not to visit its state. It's gotten that bad that they're telling Black people, look, don't even go to Florida. Really? So, this is what DeSantis says about CRT. In Florida, we are taking a stand against the state-sanctioned racism that is critical race theory. So telling the truth about Black history is now a state sanctioned or is now state sanctioned racism. He says, we won't allow Florida tax dollars to be spent teaching kids to hate our country or to hate each other. So telling the truth about Black history is going to make them hate the country and hate each other. We also have a responsibility to ensure that parents have the means to vindicate their rights when it comes to enforcing state standards. Finally, we must protect Florida workers against the hostile work environment that is created when large corporations force their employees to endure CRT inspired training and indoctrination. So, just making it plain. The message here is that it will hurt our bottom line if we tell the truth about slavery. Funny that the United States helped to hold Germany accountable for the Holocaust. But who holds America accountable? Apparently, no one, just like Egypt. So the Most High will do it because no one else will deliver us. Listen to the title here from The Guardian. A racist move. Florida's DeSantis threatens Black voter power with electoral maps. All right, so it says proposed map would chop up the 5th district into 4 new ones where Black voters would comprise a much smaller share of the vote. A visual guide. Now, didn't they do something similar? I want to say it was Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been Mississippi where they did something similar to this. But let's read this first paragraph here. It says, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis is brazenly trying to curtail Black political power in his state as he redraws its congressional districts to significantly benefit Republicans. Yeah. Now, I want you to take a look at this because I want to remind us about something. You all remember this guy right here, right? And you all remember his confession. So you can see that this plan has been underway for quite some time. He spilled the beans. But I want you to listen to what he says here. During his confession, one of the officials said Roof told authorities he wanted to start a race war. Before the shooting, Roof sat in the church for an hour with those attending Bible study. Listen to this, family. He told authorities he almost didn't go through with it because everyone was so nice to him. He almost didn't go through with it because everyone was so nice to him. Now, this is a question for those who say we're being racist because we're trying to educate our people about their true history, since we live in a nation that has made it a crime to do so. How do you explain his comment? I get the comments in the comment section. Some I just have to laugh and shake my head. And I can tell you a lot of them are coming from Christians, telling us that we're not walking in love because we're trying to show our people what is going on in the natural and the spirit realm. The people in that church walked in love toward him and still got erased. Now, we can say he was possessed by a demon. There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. But if we don't understand the system that created this sadistic culture and why, who's going to get the short end of the stick every time? And our people are left wondering, why are these things happening to us? Here's my next question. For those who label us as racist or accuse us of not walking in love, can you please tell me what our people did to make the Most High so angry with us? What did we do? We have to know that. What was it about us that made him so angry? If we want to say, well, God is love and he loves everybody and he treats everybody the same, what in the world happened to us? What did we do to make him so mad? I need somebody to answer that. For those who, I mean, this past week, the comment section for that message about Easter, it wasn't 3 days and 3 nights. Oh my word. They came out of the woodworks on that one. And just, yeah, you all are just preaching a message of hate, and this is hate doctrine. And Paul warned us not to be following after all these different. I'm like, okay, so you can count to three, and you can clearly see from Friday noon to Sunday morning is not 3 days and 3 nights, but you can't make this stuff up. So now for those who continue to say we're being racist for trying to educate our people and tell them why we are in this predicament, because they're wondering why. There was a young woman on YouTube a few weeks ago crying like, why do people hate me just because I'm Black? How do we answer that question? What did we do to the Most High? Because if you come back and say, well, it was because our people was in Africa and they were serving pagan gods and they were operating in witchcraft, you need to do some research and you will discover that every nation has done that. All nations participated in pagan worship. So what made us stand out? And you can't say, well, it was because y'all had Black skin, because there are some Indians living in India. They are darker than most of our people. So what was it about us? Come on now, what did we do? I need to know. What did we do? Why us? The oil of joy says fact. What did we do, family? Because look at China. Oh my word. They call themselves the dragon people. Why didn't they go off in chains? Please make this make sense for me. What did we do? This man sits up in a church. Did I say church? He's attending a Bible study. Did I say in a church? And the people were so nice to him. he almost didn't go through with it. Make that make sense. And again, this isn't for you to get all wound up and angry. I'm helping you to see what's at the bottom of this, what's motivating this. It's because of who we are that these things are happening. It's because of who we are. Yeah, we're going to keep going. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. You need to throw that question back at them. What did we do as a people? Why did we have to suffer through the horrors of slavery? Why do we continue to be hated around the world? Because it couldn't just be because of idol worship and witchcraft. European nations were steeped in it. Steeped in it. So it could not be that. And if that's what you're saying, you really need to go back and do some historical research, because every nation at some point in time participated in the same thing. But how is it that we don't have historical records of their punishment matching the punishments in Deuteronomy 28 or other passage of scripture of how the Most High would punish his people for being involved in paganism? Why didn't those other nations get the same type of treatment? If it's all fair, shouldn't they have been punished equally? Messenger says it's because we are the chosen of the Most High, Yahuwah. Yeah. I mean, what's the other answer? Give me another answer. If you have another one that's better than that, please put it out there, because I want to know. I want to know. So let's look at this from Stacker. It says racial hate crimes make up most reported incidents, 62%. Of the 7,303 hate crime incidents reported to law enforcement agencies in 2021 were racially, ethnically, or ancestrally motivated. So look at this. Number one is race, ethnicity, and ancestry. Please look at number three. Religion. Number three. Yet it is erroneously reported that anti-you-know-what is the number one problem in America. It's because people are anti-you-know-what against the people who say they are us. Look at number one. Now let's make it plain. Let's look at this graph. Anti-Black hate crimes far outpace other races. No other race has been targeted as frequently as Black people since the FBI began tracking reported hate crime incidents in 1991. Again, the bottom line is that people are following through on what the puppet masters are pushing. But isn't it time to ask why? Why is it always against a certain group of people? But again, pay attention to the pattern. They look for the common enemy when their world is falling apart. And you all, this nation isn't the only one doing it. You all know what's been happening in Israel for what, 2 months now? 2 months? After weeks of rising tensions, Israel's dueling crises, one over national security, the other over domestic politics, are increasingly bleeding into each other, fueling a perfect storm that analysts say has left Israel vulnerable on more fronts simultaneously than at any other point in recent memory. So, how are they handling it? Well, let's see. This is according to their prime minister. He said, the only way to secure Israel's deterrence against radical forces is to find a way to calm the current instability, including in its politics. Without doing so, our enemies will keep on trying to exploit this situation. So, let's see what else. Now, if you don't know, recently he fired his defense minister, but he rehired him. Listen to this. Listen to why. I decided to leave the disagreements behind us, he said in reversing his decision to fire Gallant, citing the need to stand together around the clock on all fronts in the face of the security challenges. He decided to leave the disagreement behind them. Why? He saw the need to stand together. When will we learn this lesson? Is my question. When will we get this? Let's finish reading this. Yet historically, military conflicts and external security threats have a tendency to temper criticism of the government in power, as the U.S. learned after September 11th, in what's become known as the rally round the flag effect. Critics argue that Netanyahu, who has parlayed his reputation as a hawkish defender of Israeli security into decades of political success, is deliberately stoking conflicts now to distract from the domestic morass. The timing is very good for him and his government because it buys them some time. Listen to this. If they can externalize an enemy, that will help them. Y'all. Yehukanan says, I'm probably messing that name up. We take care of our people even if we don't like them. Yeah, that's kind of what they're saying. Yeah. Smoke and mirrors is what Charles says. Let's see, B. Smith. We are waking up to who we really are, and that is scaring the cowardly heathens to death. That's exactly what it is. That is exact. They know that there is a need for them to come together right now because of what's happening. They know this. They look, they know it. There is a need to come together right now. So I want to read this from Luke 16:8. So the master commended the unjust steward because he had dealt shrewdly. For the sons of this world are more shrewd in their generation than the sons of light. Now just pause on that. Did you get that? The children of the world know when it's time to stop pointing their weapons at each other and focus on the common enemy so that they are not destroyed. Family, we have some serious things coming down the pike. And we know that the nations that inflicted so much pain on so many people will reap what they have sown. But until then, our enemies are getting into position to launch their attacks. Why? Because they know what's coming. They're working overtime to block the truth about our history from coming out. I mean, they are working overtime because they know that when it finally comes out, like there's no denying it, they know that there will be mass repentance, and the enemy wants to avoid that at all costs. At all costs. But it's time for us to learn how to stand together as a people. These signs of the last days are a warning, not just to them, but to us. It should be our heart's desire for our people to wake up and repent. Why do you think the enemy's working so hard to keep us in the dark about our history and our heritage? So those who are trying to wake the people up, telling them their history, telling them why we're in this situation, they're being accused of being racist and not walking in love. We haven't learned to recognize our enemy. And again, it goes beyond skin color. As I said in the last lesson, Judas looked just like the other disciples. So it's not just about a skin color, but we can learn some lessons here. We need to learn when it's time to put the weapons down and stop pointing at each other. Family. The video that I mentioned about um, the Easter myth, trying to get people to understand the truth about that. I had somebody to leave a comment, and I really don't even remember what this person was commenting on, but a reply was made to the person, but then they made some other comments and we didn't comment to them. Now, I don't even know how many comments coming in daily. It is just impossible to keep up with comments coming through. So the person sent another comment saying, I sent in this comment and you didn't reply to me, you blocked me or what have you. So I'm going to make a video and tell everybody why you blocked me. And I'm reading this going, and you are going to make a video telling everybody why you didn't get a reply to your comment. And I'm sitting there going, and you won't get a comment because you just revealed what type of spirit I'm dealing with. And I'm thinking, this is what we're having to deal with while our enemies are strategizing. This is the nonsense. You have people trying to wake our people up, trying to help them to see what's coming down the pike. And you are going to make a video, not because the Most High told you to make a video. You're going to make a video because your comment didn't get answered. And I'm sitting there thinking about all of the channels that I've commented on over the years and never gotten a reply, never gotten a reply. And this is what we're dealing with? Are you serious, family? So my comment is go right on ahead. Make your video. What you don't understand is I know how to get into the secret place. And when I get into my prayer closet, I push the return to sender button For every demonic attack, let it return to sender sevenfold. But I use that example, family, because we've got to learn this lesson. We got to stop this foolishness. We have too much about to kick off, not just here, around the world. And we're fighting about foolishness. It's time to get the pride out of the way and learn how to be our brother's keeper. William says they do Sister Deborah like that. It's possible, because I do know that there are some of them pretending to be us. There's quite a few of them now who pretend to be us, and they stir up confusion in the comment section, or what we've noticed is when people leave comments, they will go and make comments under their comments to stir up confusion. So I don't think this person, though, was a European. I don't think so. Karen says, can we please stop being jealous of each other? I'm you all family. Now, if the Most High has told you to go out and create a video because he's put a word in your mouth, you better get out there and do that. But because you're trying to go on the attack against someone because they didn't reply to a comment, is that not utter foolishness? It's utter foolishness. And like I said, they came out of the woodwork when we were trying to tell people that the Easter is a myth. It was created by the Roman Catholic Church. And I was so excited to see several channels going in on that. I believe Sister Ashonda did one, Pastor Kelly. There were several. Truth United, I believe, to just try to get the word. It has nothing to do about competition. We have work to do. We have work to do, family. We were told to look at these signs, and you can see that things are ramping up. We need to know how to stand together. This is their strategy. They find the common enemy. We have to stop this nonsense. We have to stop this. All right, let's get in a few comments coming on 9:30. Let's see. Better than you, better than you, 79. It's two countries that Antichrist is coming from, China and Russia. Wake up. Look, you know it. They already have their pieces in place. They're making their alliances. And look, they're not playing. But again, these people know these prophecies as well. The fight is really about us. That's who they're coming for. So we need to stop this nonsense. Let's see. Karen says, out of their own mouths, they are preparing for Armageddon. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. William says, get off TikTok for starters. Look, you all, I think I had that thing installed for one day. I deleted it probably a year ago. Yeah, no, I can't do that one. Can't do that one. Team Truth says, and divide and conquer. Yes. Sheila, and here we are majoring in minors. B. Smith, yeah, look, B. Smith. This is one of the reasons my family came together, had us a family meeting. The US dollar is under attack by China and Russia. So just think about Egypt. The Most High destroyed their economy. So we know that's coming. We know that's coming. So let's see. Brother Don. How you doing, Brother Don? He says Babylon fell in a night. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. Up next. Next, they'll ask us to help them fight. Look, look, you all remember what I said a couple weeks ago? When the Most High causes them to fight against themselves, stay out of it. Stay out of it. No, don't you take your behind out there. Don't you get out there. You better stay out of it. Numa Fire says ain't gonna do it. Look, no. This is not our fight. B. Smith, nope, they on their own. Cecilia, they can fight their own battles. I read an article a couple weeks ago that they were looking at age limits for the draft, like the maximum age. I did not realize that it could go as high as 60 years old. 60 years old. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I'm glad I passed that one. But oh wait. Yes, family. We have enough. We have enough to do right now. We need to be prayed up. We need to be studying. We need to be getting into that secret place. We need to be praying for the protection of our families, speaking life. We don't have time to be fighting with each other. And that's not to say that the Most High won't use some to bring rebuke. He will. He does that, but he even uses order for that. He usually matches power to power. Who did he use to go to David? The prophet Nathan. So we have to be mindful of his order, even in that. Princess, should we leave America? Someone asked me that question a number of years ago, sis. And my response then is the same response now. You do nothing unless you hear the Most High telling you this is what he wants you to do. Because the safest place that you can possibly be is in his perfect will. You can try to go somewhere and he has not told you to take your behind over there. And you go over there and get something that you weren't expecting because he didn't tell you to be there. So just know that he can protect you even in the midst of the storm. If he tells you to get up and go somewhere, then you do that. If you don't have that word and you know that that he's telling you to do that, you better stay where he tells you to be. So just nationally, we know that he says that he will deliver his people from the places that they were scattered. And I'm not opposed to going to buy land into other places. That's a good thing. If you have it like that and you're able to do that, I say go for it. But as in trying to do things in your own strength, I say no. You better wait on him. Dawn, all is vanity. We are living in the matrix. You got that right. And thank you, sis, for the super sticker. I fell off the wagon on that one too. Thank you, Michael McTavish. Thank you so much for the super sticker. For all of the other ones, who else did I miss? I'm sure there's probably a few. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see, Michael. Trayvon. Yeah, you wait until the Most High says go. Sister Sheila, thank you for the super sticker. Um, because the Most High knows our condition. We have a lot of our people who are not in a position to do anything right now. And again, that's not to say he won't move some to do that. He very well may. I don't put that past him. But you need to know that you heard from him for your family. Because again, even in the midst of the storm, think about where Noah was. They had the giants living on the earth. You had all kind of craziness going on in Noah's day. But the Most High protected that man. They couldn't destroy him. So you need to wait to hear from the Most High for you. You pray, you get into your secret place, and you ask him. This is the time for you to walk by faith. So you need to start learning to know his voice. That's going to be very important in these last days. Thank you, Brother Calvin, for the super sticker. Appreciate you, brother. Sister Portia, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I know I probably missed some folks, y'all. Y'all don't be mad at me. Don't y'all make a video. I gave Sister Hulda a super sticker. She didn't say thank you. Y'all know I'm messing with you, right? I'm just messing with your family. But yeah, you need to trust the Most High and know what he's saying to you. Know what he's saying to you. He will give you the peace that you need. He'll tell you when it's time for you to move. Now, let me qualify that as well. That's not to say that you don't prepare yourself, because there are some things that you can do in the natural. I was sharing this with our Bible study group a couple weeks ago. We have some go bags packed, things, essentials that we need in those go bags. And look, my mother, oh my word, we have everything we need almost every month. Well, did you get this? We need that. We need. So yes, we do have those things prepared. Be like the 5 wise virgins. You never know the day or the hour when he was like, okay, get up out of here and go now. So yeah, we have certain essentials packed and ready, things that we think we would need for our family. And that's just wisdom, family. Passports, though, we have those things. So those are things that you can do. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But know when he says to go, that's when you go. That's when you go. All right, so just a few more comments and then we're going to wrap up here. Sweet lady, mama ready to go. She's been ready to go. She's been ready to go. Thank you, Sister Karen, for the gift. I think I missed you. Julie, praying for you. Thank you. Praying for you all, she says. Knew my mother got that pocketbook loaded. I know that's right. Thank you, Sister Glenette, Sister Yvette. Appreciate you all. Sister Karen, you know what? Oh my gosh. That's not a video I will need to do because several people they've been there, done that. Pastor Darby has one out. Oh gosh, help me. There are several who I know. If I want to say Sister Deborah may have a video out on that as well. If you know of others, put it in the chat. But yeah, there are things that you can, have ready. Sister Regina, thank you very much. But just various items I have, and I use their lists. So if they've already created the wheel, look, I'm just using their list. I know Pastor Darby did something. It was a very in-depth session on that. And again, if some of you know of others who may have done that, then you can put it in the chat. But yeah, I just follow their list. Let's see. Gregory says, he will fight our battles, but we must be on the battlefield. There you go. Let's see. All right. Someone says, look up 36-hour packs. Have not heard of that one. Sister Shelley said, Truth United has a list. Okay, there you go. I didn't know he had one as well. And Trayvon is saying Watchman Report. So yeah, they have one. So Sister Maria has one on WhatsApp for what to pack. So yeah, a lot of folks they already did this. So just think about those things, that you're going to need. Allow the Holy Spirit to direct you in different ways. Your important documents, you want to have those things together. But I went to their channels. But these other ones that you mentioned. Thanks for sharing those lists. So you all do that. I would say that's wisdom right there. Because the day is coming when we have to get up out of here. That's coming, right? So, yeah, I would have those things ready. Let's see. Queen Mommy says, we need to be working on our shadow side while we're waiting for our pickup. The shadow side. I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean by the shadow side? Let's see. I have no idea what you all talking about with the shadow sides. What does that mean? So thank you very much for the super chat. Y'all help me out. What are you talking about when you say shadow side? I have no idea what that is. Help me out. Maybe something I need to know. But I don't know what the shadow side is. Help me. Let's see. Let's see. I don't have much packed, Sister Yvette. Just passport, birth certificate, and some water. Okay. Okay, Sister Portia say the shadow of things. Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Gotcha. So in pursuit, I've always thought shadow work was new age. Yeah, see, that's why you got to clarify for folks. So we're not going to walk in fear of those things in the shadows. So redirecting did a video on shadow. Okay, so that may be what they're referring to. So you all may want to check that out. I wasn't aware of that one. And then Team Truth says there is wisdom in the multitude of righteous counsel. Absolutely. Look, I reach out to my brothers and sisters quite a bit. There are a few that I have. Their numbers are stored. If I have a question about certain things, yeah, I reach out. I'll reach out often to Pastor Kelly, Pastor Moray Dwayne. If I'm reading something, it's like, can you read this for me in the Hebrew? What exactly did this say in the Hebrew? Yeah, we need to learn how to work together, family. It was a concerted effort to get us not to trust each other and to fight against each other. Because if we're fighting against each other, then we're not going to unite against our common enemy. You know what I mean? So we got to stop that. We've got to stop. We got to stop. All right. So look, I am getting ready to wrap up here again. Thank you all for the super chats, for the donations, for the comments. And you know what? I don't say it often because I'm so involved sometimes in the teaching. Thank you all for the generous support that you have been sending to the ministry to help us with our work. A lot of that support go back to our community to help our family and our people who are in need. And I shouldn't say our family. When I say our family, I'm talking about the house of Israel, to help our people in need. And there are many others doing it. Other ministries, doing certain things or work together on certain things. So just know that the gifts are appreciated. But I tell you, I smile. It warms my heart when I get those special little messages. It's just a word of encouragement to let me know that you're praying and keeping my family lifted up. Those mean a lot. So just know that I don't take it for granted, because you all know what we're dealing with here. You know what we're doing, what we're dealing with. And that's why I say we have to stay prayed up, because there are so many forces working against us, trying to shut our mouths. Why? Because what's going out of our mouth? The word of life. The enemy does not want the sons to step into their rightful place, because he already knows what's going to happen when that happens. So if they can keep us fighting with each other, looking for ways to attack each other. Look, I get people, they've been subscribed like for years. And it's like, I'm not getting the notifications. How is it? Like, look, you need to understand what I'm dealing with. The shadow banning. We had a lot of problems with people leaving comments. And there was a time when I would see the comment pop up. And then when I go back to it, can't find it. And people are not getting the notifications, even though they have on all the notifications turned on. So the only thing I can suggest is try unsubscribing and then resubscribing, and then turn on all notifications to see if that works. And I get comments from people, your channel's definitely being shadow banned, because you can tell by the number of comments coming in that it should be higher number. I have to keep doing what he's given me to do, and trust that he will cause this to go out to those who need to hear it, and not just this channel. It's the other brothers and sisters as well. He wants to close our mouths. He's really wanting to close our mouths, because he knows the power that will come forth when we all start walking together as brothers and sisters in the truth. So, Princess Living Free, have you heard about FedNow systems? I read about it, but I didn't. Let's just say I glanced at it. I probably need to go back and look at it again to see exactly what they're going to be doing with that. But yeah, we know that there's a lot of things coming. Thank you, Brother Harold. I appreciate it. I really appreciate that. But it's all for the Most High's glory, all for his glory. Because for those who do this, this requires a lot of time and effort. My hat's off to those people who are able to get something out every day. Look, Sundays at 8:30. Oh my gosh. And even then there are some nights 1:30 I'm still up. It's like, oh my gosh. So yes, my hat's off to my brothers and sisters who are hanging in there daily. It's just not there. I'm just not there. So, family, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Our moderators, some of them need to get to work in the morning. Thanks, Sister Joy. I appreciate you, sis. You all check out her channel. see what she's doing. The Oil of Joy music. I saw Elephant Man on here. Who else did I miss? Anyone else that I miss? Check out their channels and see what they're doing as well. All right, family. Be blessed. Be blessed. Take care, family.